Rallying the Troops from Blue Dwarf. Podcast voiced by Andy Longman. Original post written by Andy Longman on the 14th of March 2011. Hi Jay, Cassandra smiled, blowing me a kiss. The drive room was silent for a moment before someone with the gift for the blindingly obvious shouted what everyone else was thinking. Smagging hell! It's Queen Brittany! But, Jay said, you're dead. Well, replied Cass, I'm back. Jay frowned as he eyed the late Queen with suspicion. Aren't you Mr. Butler? He said to Brittany's companion. Butler said nothing, just nodded. Cass Jones's friend. How did you hook up with the Queen? That's not important, Cass said. What can I do to help? Talk to the Space Corps? They've ordered us to stand down and make no move against the Hymenoptera. They're refusing to go to war. Personally, I think Eckerslike of the JMC has waved a large wad of cash in their faces to convince them to take this attack sitting down. Could you try to convince them to let us launch a counter-attack against the Hymenoptera homeworld? Why not launch an attack anyway? Believe me, Jay said, I want to, but we're one seriously damaged ship. We need support. I'll see what I can do. And with that, Brittany walked into the captain's office. Meanwhile, help! Came a voice across Parotts' bar. Hold on, Jane shouted back. I'm coming. Nessa, give me a hand here. Vanessa Crysler ran across from where she had been helping an injured patron of Parotts and helped Jane to move a large piece of debris that was pinning the bartender, Jay Bird, to the ground. Oh my God, Jane said as they moved the debris to one side and saw Jay's condition. He was bleeding heavily, and the falling debris had severed the lower half of his right leg. Vanessa, used to seeing worse things, immediately crouched at his side and began doing what she could. Jane, she said, he's lost a lot of blood. I need some help here. Go and get someone from the medibay up here. She paused as she realised that most of the medical staff would have their hands full. Failing that, anyone with a first aid qualification. Jane nodded and ran towards the door of the bar, but was thrown off her feet as the deck rumbled. A loud creaking noise could be heard from above. Jane looked up to where the noise was coming from and yelled out, Ness, look out! It was too late. The ceiling directly above Vanessa and Bird caved in, raining down chunks of reinforced steel on top of them. Jane ran over and began tossing smaller chunks of metal aside and trying to level the larger parts out of the way, but as the dust settled, she caught sight of both Vanessa and Jay's bloodied bodies, lifeless and crushed beneath the rubble. Jane cried out angrily, then sat back, sobbing. Back in the drive room, Brittany stepped out of Jay's office and shook her head. She hadn't been able to convince the Space Corps to agree a counter-strike. Damn it, Jay said. Then I guess we're alone. You think the crew will follow you, going against orders on a personal vendetta? I don't know, Jay replied candidly. But when we're flight capable, I'm going in alone if I have to. If anyone does join me, I'll make sure the Corps thinks they're acting under my orders. Queen Brittany, Jay continued, do you think you could rally the troops, as it were? This podcast is a work of fiction and is in no way endorsed, approved or even liked by the creators of Red Dwarf. For more stories and information, visit bluedwarf.co.uk.